Some strange news for our next story. I heard this when it happened on Monday, and I thought I'm going to click through whenever they figure this out and read what really happened. And this is not what I expected. A 14-year-old girl in Arlington was arrested for an incident on a school bus. And I thought, okay, well, were they fighting? No, she threw contents of a water bottle, but there wasn't just water in there. According to the report, it had water, sand, mustard, and bleach? What the heck? We had a 14-year-old girl did a bleach attack on a school bus in Arlington? That doesn't sound right. Well, it gets worse than that. We had a handful of kids actually have to go to the hospital to get their eyes properly washed out because the bleach hit it. What is going on? Have you ever heard of a bleach attack in your entire life? Besides the Jussie Smollett thing, because that didn't even really happen. In fact, that was one of the jokes about Jussie Smollett. Is he claimed that someone threw bleach on him. And I knew it wasn't true because no one's ever thrown bleach on someone in a fit of rage in my entire life. You've never read that in a news story either. But I'll be damned. It happened. Or it sounds like it happened. And now we have another layer on top of that. She got arrested. She going to be charged with a crime? Should we send a 14-year-old girl to jail because she threw bleach on some fellow students? I think so. I'll try and make my case next, but I'm tired of people just disagreeing with me. We're not going to do that the whole show. But what do you think? This girl on the Arlington school bus threw bleach on people, intentionally trying to hurt them. Should she go to jail? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. That's going to be our next topic. And also, I got to mention the next James Show meetup. We're announcing that now. It's going to be May 27th at Manny G's in Keller. Got it? If you need to hear it again, I'll say it 1,000 times, or you can send me an email. I'll be making a Facebook event and sharing it out. But it's the first time I'm announcing it on the air. Manny G's in Keller, May 27th. That's a Tuesday, 7 p.m.-ish. Just depends on the traffic getting me from here to over there. You feel safe with your kids on the bus? They may get attacked with bleach. WFAA has the report.
And back to that breaking news we're following. 5 Arlington high school students sickened by a substance. We just got an update from Arlington police who tell us the incident happened on a bus. They say a student threw a water bottle containing a substance that tests revealed included bleach. That 14-year-old student will be charged with aggravated assault. Several students were taken to a hospital for eye irritation.
What the heck is that? We got to worry about bleach now? The school bus? A little more detail here in the article on WFAA. Arlington police said in a statement, originally the student had advised the concoction was water, mustard, and sand. After further investigation and testing, the substance was revealed to contain bleach as well. So I'm trying to figure out what was in this bottle. Was it water, mustard, sand, and bleach? Or was it just bleach and she lied about the mustard and sand? I don't know. This is weird. But the question is, she's 14. She sent 5 kids to the hospital. Do you send a 14-year-old to jail for that? They go to regular old juvie hall? What should happen to her? 800-288-9227. This is a bridge none of us have crossed before because you've never seen a bleach attack in America in your entire life. Cindy in Princeton, what should happen with this girl?
Texas, we have a problem. We have a problem with our children that think that their actions have no consequences. That has to stop. We have got to make sure that everybody, not just children, but adults as well, know that their thoughts and their actions are going to have consequences, period. Yes, this child should be sent to juvie. She should be dealt with. We have to have a whole lot more accountability for our children. Texas has given us, as a school district, the responsibility to handle discipline, but they blindfolded us and tied our hands behind our back.
You say us. You work at a school, huh?
I'm part of a school district, yes.
All right. So tell me what I don't know. What do I need to know? You can't kick this girl out of school, I'm guessing?
You can't kick anybody out of school. The law has taken care of that. We have children that
Is that true? How do kids get sent to alternative school and no one gets expelled anymore?
Well, if you get expelled, the district has to pay thousands of dollars to put you in a special school for children that have discipline issues, and we don't get paid back for it by the state legislature. It's just handed to us as a gift that we get to pay for. But no, we're not allowed to get rid of any child, and
That's
I don't
terrible.
think we should get rid of any child. I think we should be able to have people, counselors, and other people that know how to deal with these people instead of just regular teachers having to deal with issues that are way above their pay grade. They're not able to teach in the classroom because they're having to discipline kids that have discipline issues way, way more difficult than they should have.
Well,
So
right.
we have
This
got
is
to find a
the one
solution.
part where me and teachers are singing from the same sheet of music. The real problem that we have in most schools that have problems is behavioral. It's not that we don't have the right curriculum or we should be teaching Common Core math or and throwing more money at it is not going to solve it. I think it would start with we need to be able to kick kids out of school, and well, you gotta give them an alternative. Yeah, their alternative's now the private sector, where there's not going to be any more taxpayer dollars going to someone who has demonstrated they're not worthy of the taxpayer dollars. And number one, what's kids' incentive to behave knowing that they could never get kicked out of school? You know, there's a first incentive right there. There's an incentive for the parents. Hey, if you're going to have to come out of pocket for this, you're going to have to pay for it. Don't you think they might do a little better job? But whenever you come across a monster like this, and I say monster because I know this is a minor who doesn't have their full judgment part of their brain developed and whatnot, but to be able to be capable of pouring bleach in someone's eyes, there's a reason we don't see that a whole lot. It's because a non-sociopathic human being or non-abused animal wouldn't be able to do that. All right, I think I just talked her to death. Let's go to Richard and Denton. You're next up on WBAP. What do you think, Richard?
Well, I'm still alive.
Okay, good. What happened to this 14-year-old girl that threw bleach on some of her student friends?
If she had bleach in sand and she threw it, she knew exactly what she was doing. And I think she should be tried as an adult. Without any punishment, you will never get a change in behavior.
Well, serious punishment, significant punishment. But already we have someone with, if you have bleach in a bottle, is there anything other than using it as a weapon that was possible? So if not, then this is clearly like a premeditated act. She's like, well, next time I'm going to put this bleach in the bottle so if they mess with me, or maybe she knew she was going to do it before she ever even got on the bus, and whether she got messed with or not. There's a level of premeditation here. There's a level of sort of cruel and unusual here with the bleach thing. This girl...
unless she was working on her laundry, she had no other excuse.
Right. She had some pre-existing anti-textile bigotry. Right. Good point there, Richard. I don't think that's the case either. I think she might just be a bad seed. Let's go to Shirley in Royce City. You're on WBAP. What should happen to this 14-year-old student who threw bleach on her classmates?
Absolutely agree. She needs to go to juvie. And what you said earlier, too, about it being premeditated, that was a premeditated act.
We got some bad kids these days, don't we, Shirley?
Yeah, I actually work in a school, so yes, there's a lot going on. And I will tell you, one thing about the students is there's a lot of good kids. Truly there are, but a lot of bad habits. And you got to have a district and an admin that's going to back up and give the appropriate discipline for what's happening. Unfortunately, we don't see that. And I agree with your first caller who was mentioning that expulsion and stuff is difficult. Yes, it's very difficult now.
That is unfortunate. All right, Charlie in Royce City, I appreciate you calling in. Good stuff. Now joining me from the #1 radio station in all of DFW, host of The Invasion on the Ticket, Donovan Lewis, back on the James Show. Welcome back, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Well, pretty good. Not doing as good as the Stars. They're cruising into the semifinals here, the Western Conference Finals. And how do you like their odds so far? I see a lot of good signs here. I haven't watched nearly as much hockey as you have this year, but I jump on the bandwagon in the playoffs. I think they have a chance.
Really good chance. You know, it's a rematch from last year. Edmonton took it in 6 games, but Dallas had a 2-1 lead last year, but before it felt like they just kind of ran out of gas. They're a deeper team. Edmonton's a deeper team, so this should be a fantastic matchup. It probably will go all 7 games, and the good thing you have with Dallas is that they have home ice advantage. They had it last year, couldn't get it done, but I think a lot of people feel that this team is better, deeper, and, man, their goalie's been playing excellent. So as long as you have that good goalie play, you have an opportunity to advance, and it's right there in front of the Stars.
One thing I think that is an upgrade this year is we now have 5 people from Finland, and what a difference 2 of them have made.
Yeah, no doubt. Mikko Rantanen is is the guy. Maybe that was the problem last year because they just didn't have that one guy that can take over, that superstar. They were a deep team, but they didn't have a guy. And now they have a guy. They got him from Carolina mid-season, so he has been playing really well in these playoffs. And when you need someone to score, you need to go and find that guy, and he definitely is one. So the guys from Finley, along with Hint and Granlund, those guys have been playing really well.
Yeah, and the Stars parties are bigger than they were last year. And when I say the Stars parties, like out here in the plaza outside of our studio here. So
Right.
so I went to the one on, I think it was Thursday. It was the Game 5 one that they lost. But there were over 1,000 people that had brought lawn chairs, but then the Stars also had like a couple of bars set up and a DJ and a bunch of giveaways and whatnot. And that's even bigger than it was last year. And last year we were in the semifinals already.
The Stars aren't playing, and it's another hockey game that they're showing, and they show outside the arena because you're starting to see now all the arenas having some sort of alleyway or plaza thing like the Stars have. And that's a really cool scene. I haven't been to one of the road games, but I'm pretty sure it's fun, especially you went when the Stars didn't score a goal either. So I'm pretty sure it wasn't as live as it usually is if the Stars are winning and scoring. But it looks like a fun time.
Yeah, we're talking with Donovan Lewis from the Invasion on the ticket about the Stars here in the playoffs. Getting close to the end here. They only have 2 teams left. If you want to see a quick video, I took 17 seconds of the scene from the party outside of the stadium. Now, tonight, they're going to have a party inside the stadium, but it's just a watch party. It's an away game, but it only costs $10 to get in the stadium, and you get to watch it on the screen and stuff. And that's a pretty cool scene.
You talking the Stars game tonight?
Yeah.
It's at the AAC. It's at home.
Am I looking at over here where they're having the watch parties? That's for the away games?
Yeah, usually when they have those watch parties, it's when they're on the road. But yeah, tonight is at the AAC. It's a home game. So if you expect to get into the arena paying $10, I think a lot of people will be very disappointed.
Yeah, well, correct me on that. Does that mean we're not having the party outside because it's a home game and they want you in the building?
I think that's the case. I think they only have those parties on the plaza when they're on the road. But this is definitely a home game tonight.
See, this is why we have a sports expert on to correct me when I get things wrong. Thank you very much, Donovan Lewis.
No, you're fine.
All right, so when we get past the Oilers, I don't mean to get too far ahead here before we've even started this series, but if we get past them, how hard did the finals look?
Oh, my gosh. Carolina and Florida are playing in the Eastern Conference Finals, and Florida on the road won Game 1, and they're the defending Stanley Cup champions. So they've been there and done that. They actually beat Edmonton last year in the Stanley Cup final. So they are – either one of those teams would be a really tough challenge to anyone who wins Dallas and Edmonton, but it would be kind of a storybook ending or series if Carolina were to advance and Dallas were to advance, because that's where – Mikko Rantanen came from, and he was traded from. So to see Dallas and Carolina in the Stanley Cup final would be an absolute drama-filled series with Mikko Rantanen, the Stars' best player, going against his former team. And, of course, the Stars had to give up a really good player to get Mikko Rantanen. He's playing in Carolina now. So that would be the juicier one, but either one of those teams, if the Stars advance, will be very difficult to get past.
Are y'all doing anything special on the ticket for the Stars playoff run?
Oh, we actually have the games on the ticket. So, yes, our pregame starts at 6:30 on the ticket, puck drop at 7, and this is a national broadcast, so you can't see it locally. But if you can try to sync up the audio with the radio and the television, we got the best in the business with Josh Bogorod and Razor Ray calling the games. They are the best. So if you could try to sync it up, listen to the Stars on the ticket, and watch the game on TV, that would be the perfect equation, I believe.
All right, so let's get it right this time. The game is at home, and then Game 2 is going to be at home as well, and then they're going to do the watch parties for Game 3 and 4.
Game 3 and 4, yeah.
Okay, so y'all come out to the plaza. If you get here about the time the game starts, that's about the time I get out of work, and I'll be walking out of here and say hi. All right, Donovan Lewis.
It's a great team, man. That's great.
It is, and you know what? It's my favorite price. It's absolutely free.
I kind of like that price also.
All right, Donovan Lewis, 1310 the ticket. I appreciate your time. Let me borrow some listeners when you got a chance.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Anytime.
All right. I love that station, and it makes me very happy to say that they beat us in the ratings. I mean, I wish we were in first place, but if anyone's going to beat us, I'm glad it's those guys. How about that? Well, the market's had a rough day. Was down about 1%, which isn't too scary on its own, but are we headed for further losses, or should we expect more optimism in the future? Paul DeZagan from DeWitt & Dunn Financial Services is my next guest on the James Show. And, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but generally speaking, are you fazed by today's performance in the markets?
Well, thanks for having me. I think you have to put it in perspective, James. If you look, the S&P had a 6-day winning streak. Off the April lows, the S&P's up 13%, the NASDAQ's up 18%. We're looking for some profit taking. I think it's exactly what you're getting. And we had some excuses to get that. So early on this morning, before the market opened, you had Target that reported earnings, and they cut their full year sales. So people started questioning, is the consumer maybe starting to get tapped out? I don't think that's the case. And then so the market sort of accelerated the down move. We had a 20-year auction, and it didn't go very well. And you'll see that when that didn't go well, the market, you'll see the S&P really kind of sold off. But I think, like I said, put it in perspective, I think that it's more some profit taking. There's an excuse. And I think that's where we are now, frankly.
Do I need to get in some of these bonds?
Me personally, no. I think I think the market's going to see some continued volatility right now. But I would sort of stay the course, right? So we did have a really big jump off the April lows, and it's natural that you get some backing and filling. And then there's a point where the dip buyers will stay in and jump in and take advantage of some lower prices. But I do expect the volatility for the next, few sessions probably to kind of persist. I would look, I think the 10-year finished right around 4.6% on the yield. If we start challenging sort of those January high yields of about 4.78%, I think that it's maybe a different conversation. But I think for now, like I said, it's just some profit taking. I know it looks scary when you kind of look at your portfolio. You see the indices down this much. It's pretty scary. But I do really think that it's just more profit taking at the time being. And obviously the yields are, as we kind of discussed the big tax bill, I think that players, the yields probably went up a little bit because people think that the deficits are going to be added to, and it's scared some people. But I think that overall we'll see the market sort of like calm after a few days of maybe profit taking.
Paul DeZagan of DeWitt & Dunn, I've noticed that many companies have announced that they're not going to be raising prices because of the tariffs. They just are going to eat them. And so many companies are saying that. I have to believe that they think the tariffs just aren't going to be there in a few months.
Well, I think there's a couple different ways you can look at it. I think that there's a group of people that probably the average person doesn't really understand how tariffs work, right? So tariffs, some people think that, hey, tariffs with China, I'm just using round numbers, are going to be at 100%. My sneakers that I'm buying, they're going to go from 150 to 300. It's not the case, right? So the tariffs are on what we call the declared value, and that's the cost that it costs to fabric for the retailer, right? So if sneakers cost, say, $25 to make in China, plus shipping, you're going to have a declared value. So the tariff will be on that price, not the retail price. So I think there's some misconception there. But are the tariffs going away? We had some pretty good news, and I think that, like most people, I think that China probably has an incentive to find a deal with the U.S. We obviously we import about $440 billion of goods to China, and we export about $140 billion. So it isn't, it's in everyone's interest to find a deal. And so I think the tariffs will eventually work themselves out.
Right. I think a lot of people understand that the whole tariff situation is just a bargaining chip and no one really wants to have them long term. But you can't go to the negotiating table saying, nah, we're just going to try this for a few months. And if we don't get you to budge, we'll lower the tariffs back to what they were. You just can't do that.
No, I agree. So, I think that if you look at the trade imbalances we've had for years, a lot of administrations in the past have sort of kind of kicked the can down the road. And, long term, I think the tariffs are going to cause short-term pain, but I think that they will overall, I think it's going to make the companies in the U.S. healthier. just my opinion, but I think that, the tariffs are negotiating power to sort of get that trade imbalance back in line where it should be.
Are we being affected by the convulsions with the trade wars and the tariffs that are actually in effect now? Are we being affected much here in Texas?
It's funny. I actually talked to a business owner a couple of days ago and asked him, because he imports quite a bit of stuff from China, and I asked him that question. And he said it kind of depends on who you are and who the importer is, right? So people with high margins are not as impacted as much, right? So he told me he had pretty high margins, and he would be able to actually, if it got really bad, he could move his production to Thailand or Taiwan and use the factories there. So I think it's company to company. So I saw that Walmart the other day during their call, I believe, said that they were going to be raising prices on certain goods. So, obviously Walmart are going to have a lot less margins than some other people. So I think for, the basic products, the low margin stuff, you will see the price hikes. But I think the people that have the higher margin business, there's no impact. Are we seeing any supply chain issues at the moment? As far as I know, we're not. I asked him as well. He said, no, I've had no supply chain issues for the moment. So I don't think we've seen a direct impact. Can that change in the next month or so? Maybe. But so far, I haven't seen evidence that the tariffs have directly impacted.
All right, this is Paul DeZagan from DeWitt and Dunn. You can hear the DeWitt and Dunn Financial Hour on the weekends here on WBAP. Thank you very much for your help, sir.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
All right, good stuff. Okay, coming up next, you're going to love this. Jake Tapper tried to explain himself. Now, he has to do some interviews to promote his new book that's about the Biden decline and the media cover-up. And he actually went on the Megyn Kelly show. Now, Megyn Kelly, not a friendly situation to be in, and she gave him the business. And you're going to hear coming up in the next segment, Jake Tapper, his excuse on how he got all this reporting wrong about Biden's decline. Whoops. That's his excuse. Oh, I just missed it. Oh, you're a terrible reporter. He swears. I'm just ignorant. I have no idea what I'm talking about. You'll hear him next on The James Show. News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP. Bob Lavelle, Home Marketing Services. Welcome back to The James Show. And for people who are spending $2,000 a month in rent, I think you absolutely have to look into buying a house. I think that's sort of the magic cutoff, and it's lower than that. But if you're paying $2,000 a month, you should probably be in a house. Is that a pretty good rule of thumb there, Bob?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, we had a vet that had 5 kids, and he needed a fairly good-sized house, looking for a 5-bedroom. He had been turned down by the VA several times because of his job qualifications that he had considered contract. And but we actually got him his house, his 5-bedroom, and we did it through VA. But the best part is he ended up literally paying about $100 a month less than what he was paying rent for the 5 kids.
That's what happened to me, actually. The first house I bought, my monthly payment went down, and it was mind-blowing because I'm living in a bigger area with a yard and a driveway, and I'm not sharing a duplex with some other goober, and my cost actually went down. Buying a home, upgrading your lifestyle was actually cheaper in some situations. That's the magic of what Bob Lavelle can do for you, but you have to give him a call. He does not know your number yet, or he would call you first. 972-392-9595. Go to 972-392-9595. You can go to the website, blessyourheart.com, or call 972-392-9595. All right, thanks again, Bob. Take good care of him for me.
Thanks, James. You got it.